100 kilometers above the Earth's surface lies an invisible frontier, the edge of space. This is the Kármán line, the boundary between our atmosphere and what lies beyond. What does it take to cross that line? To date, some 450 people, cosmonauts, astronauts, taikonauts, call them what you will, have crossed that unseen border. Early on, they were Cold War test pilots. Over time, they've included geologists, engineers, scientists of every kind, and now mission specialists of all shapes, sizes, and nationalities. Even a few politicians and wealthy tourists have gate-crashed the space party. But how do you earn those astronaut wings? As Chris Hadfield, the first Canadian to walk in space, has said, an astronaut's life is one of preparation and simulation and training and support on the ground, of anticipation and visualization, and very, very seldom, almost never, is an astronaut's life about flying in space. In one sense, becoming an astronaut boils down to brute force, rockets spewing fire and thunder, but the selection process itself is exacting. Astronaut candidates must be physically and mentally fit to endure demanding training. High intelligence is critical, bravery is welcome, and you'd best be a team player. The current cadre trains for work aboard the International Space Station, while others prepare for missions yet to come. They all share one sentiment. They feel extraordinarily lucky. I never planned to become an astronaut, admits one ESA astronaut. I knew the odds were slim. Applying wasn't about believing I'd make it, it was about giving my dream a chance. If I failed, at least I tried. It also helps if you can pilot one of these, a sleek T-38 jet, for example. My background as a pilot helps, says one astronaut. Following procedures, working in a team, communicating effectively, skills learned from flying are invaluable here. Of course, everyone has expectations going in, but the job of astronaut is so unique that reality often diverges. Some aspects are what I imagined, says an ESA astronaut, the excitement, the wonder of human spaceflight. Others, I couldn't have guessed. It's all so unique. For those selected, training is long and intense. Expect a 2-year initial training period and continuous evaluation. You must learn to live and work in extreme environments right from the start. Movie buffs recall Key Largo in Florida as the setting of a Bogart classic. Today, it's home to NASA's Nemo facility, Aquarius, an underwater habitat where astronauts train for ISS tasks and even future asteroid missions. Similarly, Sardinia's Essa Gruta caves serve as a subterranean proving ground for isolation and team building. Spending a week in huge cave systems and taking part in Nemo underwater missions are fantastic opportunities, says one astronaut. And that's before going to space. It's what makes this job so wonderful. Spaceflight training isn't easy. For 3.5 years, I traveled every 3 weeks, one astronaut recalls. 5% of my time at home, if that. It's a challenge. The training indeed takes you around the world, leaving no time for boredom. I've done 2 orbits of Earth already, just by plane. NASA to Russia to Japan and back to Europe, another says. All European astronauts start at the European Astronaut Center in Cologne, Germany, where they master maintenance, repair of onboard systems, and essential EVA, extravehicular activity skills. Underwater, of course. The U.S. Johnson Space Center in Houston expands on that, offering advanced EVA training, robotics, and simulations of emergencies. Just yesterday, says an astronaut, we ran a 5-hour emergency sim with 6 crew members. We drill for what we hope never happens. Expectations rarely survive contact with reality. Emergencies in space don't always match training scenarios, but thorough preparation builds a mindset that focuses on solutions, not problems. EVA, the spacewalk, is among the most demanding tasks, requiring state-of-the-art safety protocols. At JSC's huge neutral buoyancy lab, astronauts train hours underwater, simulating zero-G conditions. Physically tough but incredibly realistic, they say. All this training accumulates over years. Astronauts head to Japan's Tsukuba Center to learn about the Kibo module, to Canada's CSA complex near Quebec for robotic arm mastery, and to Star City in Russia for Soyuz spacecraft training. Star City is steeped in history. Yuri Gagarin's legacy lingers, notes one astronaut. You're part of something much bigger. Language can be a barrier too. The Soyuz spacecraft is Russian, and you must master Russian systems and suits, and do it all in Russian. Then there's the physically constraining so-called spacesuit. Pressurized, it's hard to move your arms and fingers, one astronaut recounts. But that's hopefully just for training and emergencies. With no U.S. crew vehicle currently in service, all astronauts destined for the ISS launch aboard Soyuz rockets. As mission days approach, you run through the entire launch and landing sequences in simulators. It's starting to feel real, one astronaut smiles, and that's thrilling. A 6-month ISS mission typically requires about 5 years of prep, maybe more for deep space missions. The ISS itself doubles as a test bed for future journeys to Mars and beyond. Training is continuous and global, ensuring astronauts can handle any crisis. Once assigned, you're ready, they say. We know the systems, we've trained for countless scenarios, we're prepared. In space, unpredictable events shape your daily tasks, visiting vehicles, new experiments, EVAs. The ISS is a busy orbital outpost. Scientific work touches every field: medicine, technology, materials science, fluid physics. The complexity is staggering. We train for so much that even if something unexpected happens, we have the mindset to fix it, says one astronaut. Eventually, the big day comes and you board the Soyuz. The ride is dangerous. Rockets full of fuel, micrometeoroids, solar radiation, and a fiery re-entry await you. Yet with all that training, fear gives way to confidence. Returning home is another story. Gravity hits like a hammer, making everything heavy and effortful. When they open the hatch, fresh air floods in. It feels amazing, one recalls. You feel exhausted and weak, but we have a great recovery program in Cologne. Soon enough, it's back to normal. At the end of a career, flying another mission is a gift. I'm using all my knowledge from years of training, says a veteran astronaut. To do this one last time is pure joy. But there's another way to cross that line. Pay your own way. Some wealthy civilians have done so, and before long, ordinary people may afford suborbital trips. I'll be the first passenger, says one private spaceflight pioneer. I hope thousands follow after me. Launching payloads into space is no trivial matter. Rockets, once designed to carry nuclear warheads, now loft satellites and probes. The complexity of rocket science is legendary. Today, many nations and companies can launch payloads. Light, medium, and heavy-lift rockets place satellites in low Earth, polar, or geosynchronous orbit. Even New Zealand is in on the act with the Electron CubeSat launcher. Soviet legacy rockets like Proton and Soyuz continue to operate, though modernization efforts aim to reduce environmental impact and enhance modularity. The Angara rocket family and the venerable Soyuz 2 ensure Russia's future launch capability. Japan, India and China all offer their own launchers: Epsilon, H2, PSLV, GSLV and the mighty Long March family. China's eco-friendly Long March 5 stands poised to lift 25 tons to orbit. Europe's ESA uses the Kourou spaceport and fields the versatile Vega and Ariane families. Ariane 6, under development, promises a 50% cost reduction over current launches, a response to fierce international competition. Across the Atlantic, private industry and NASA's changes have opened the market. ULA operates Atlas and Delta rockets, developing Vulcan for the future. Orbital ATK uses repurposed ICBMs and Antares for ISS resupply. SpaceX recovers and reuses Falcon rocket stages, revolutionizing economics. Their Falcon Heavy and NASA's upcoming SLS push payload capacity to unprecedented levels. Carrying humans requires man-rated systems. Currently, only Russia's Soyuz and China's Shenzhou are man-rated capsules. The Russians plan a new Federation spacecraft. NASA's Commercial Crew Program involves Boeing's Starliner and SpaceX's Crew Dragon, while Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic target suborbital tourism. Sierra Nevada's Dream Chaser, a spaceplane, also seeks a role. Advances in propulsion, like reaction engines Sabre, promise air-breathing engines that enable single-stage to orbit vehicles like Skylon, offering cheap, reliable access to space. As technology improves, costs will fall, allowing more frequent missions and enabling ordinary people to journey beyond the Kármán line. Space exploration is a rare human endeavor that does not occur naturally. Yet, from Cold War ICBMs repurposed as satellite launchers to the sleek next-generation systems in development, our ability to reach space keeps improving. And the ultimate quest remains: to become a multi-planet species.